Hello! I'd like to welcome everyone watching to episode 1B of Leah's Solar Flare. If you, for whatever reason, don't know what LSF is, it's a trial contest where the 102 contestants submit responses to my prompts within a given limit. Since I know some of you refuse to read the info channels in the server, I'll briefly mention that this season will be split into 5 distinct phases consisting of 3 rounds each, and will only have eliminations at the end of each phase. Since this is round 1, no one is getting eliminated yet. Well, not by normal circumstances at least, but I'll get to that later. Before we proceed, I received a few confessionals from contestants that I'll be reading out now. A literal tree said, "Spacey blah 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 blah. I'm saving the real confessionals for Twa 2. Yeah, good luck on making it that far, buddy." Clover said, "Ooh, what's this? 28 technicals fulfilled?" Envy said, "Man, I'm sad." Head of Tea said, "How do you pronounce caramel twow?" Caramel twow. Hope this helps. I am Chumdatus said, "I am Chumdatus." Jawline Jim said, "You should be listening to Daft Punk right about now." I actually did listen to Daft Punk for part of the time I was making results, so that's cool. Jolene Kirby said, "So there was this girl in 6th form that I basically bullied and I even..." Huh? What do you mean that's not what a confessional is? Oh, okay. I see. Okay, I can do that. Hey everyone, it's Jolene. God, it'd been forever since I last played a TWA, and with the reveal of TWA Season 2, it seems I came back just at the right time. I originally left because I had absolutely no success. I would die round 2 at latest. I think it might just be that what I think is good, correct, and what the TWA community thinks is good, incorrect, are just very different. But hey, I recently had a lot of success in a caption survival, so who knows, maybe this time I can get far. Good luck to the rest of you, I'll be see y'all round 2. Love and rage. Kawaii Tomato said, "I'm really excited to play in such a large scale TWA. Good luck to everybody." Master Mark said, "Go watch the Rick vs. Doctor Who death battle. It's epic." Mr. Dell said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, target, yeah, 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 okay, yeah, they call me Target. Yo girl looking like she's name is Margaret." Laughter. This is where I tell everyone watching to stream Coochie Gang music. Nindragon471 said, "Cat emoji." Normal Bin said, "Whoa, this TWA was so cool, I really hope I can make it past the first phase." Orbital Nova said, "Responses containing multiple technicals corroborate grieving." Pastaline said, "Wow." Rapid said, 315.621.75.9. If this isn't your IP address, you're still not safe. Smiley. Sicto said, "Anyone's first words are often comprehensible, just like this confessional I'm writing right now. I mean, what even are words?" Scully, "Imagine if I get eliminated in round 2, that would be pretty funny." Luckily for you, it's impossible to get eliminated until round 3. Semi-Sheriff said, "Check your closet, Leah." Sunmoon said, "I hate technical." Tonya Chopper said, "A Leah TWA with a million texts, half of which are cheesable AF? Let's get down to business." Upside said, "This is my confessional thing. If I get out in the first round, remember me, pensive emoji, pensive emoji." Refer back to what I said to Scully. Username said, "Hey ladies." White Cyclosis said, "This is the best unintentional TWA I've been in so far. Thumbs up." I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult, honestly. And finally, YTP fan said, "Nya." With that out of the way, it's almost time to jump into results. Before that, a couple of quick stats. 102 contestants signed up to this season, writing 1 response each, and with most of them trying to pass as many technicals as possible. VPR for this round was 19.46, which is very solid to kick off the season with. Now, without further ado, let's get this show on the road. The winner of this round had it in the bag from the very start, to be frank. The boost was so incredibly large that no one else really even stood a chance. You already know who you are, but for everyone else, LSF's first golden medalist is the one, the only, Clover! With that 211% boost, it's no surprise that she came out on top. With that being said, however, 2nd and 3rd place weren't too far behind, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I should explain how this leaderboard works in case anyone doesn't understand it at first glance. Firstly, I think contestant name, response, persona, and rank should be self-explanatory. The number under the actual rank is raw rank, or player's rank before boosts were applied. Moving to the right, we have total score, and under that is raw score plus boost from technicals. One column over is standard deviation, below which is skew, which is a measure of where most voters place your response relative to your average score. The number on the far right is vote count, and lastly, the visual display at the bottom of the pod under the scores is the voter rating distribution, a way of showing each individual vote your response received as its own bar. Now, both of the next placers have actually been finalists in my seasons before this one. Second was a Concise Dwarf finalist alongside Clover, and third came from Semestrar fame. The other faces rounding out round 1 podium are Fred Something and Neptune, respectively. Yeah, the strategy this round was pretty obvious. I'm sad to say that most of the prize zone looks like this, but please don't give up hope on this season yet. I'll do my best to close the loopholes present this round and make the rest of this phase a lot smoother, and even then, I've got lots more fun and interesting stuff planned for later in the game anyway, so I sincerely hope this admittedly rocky start doesn't scare too many of you away from what I still hope to make a fantastic experience. Anyway, moving down, Meowie, Fish, and an Artichoke take up the next 3 slots. As expected, their responses are more nonsense crafted to pass as many technicals as possible. Artie actually said they would edit the response to something comprehensible later, but they never did. In hindsight, I guess they made the right choice. Fish honestly had my favorite approach out of the blatant technical cheesers. He argued that the single Arabic character is a smiley face emoji, and he also made a FNAF theme remix with this character as the entire title to pass S3. Great stuff. Continuing our steep decline, we see more technical cheesers, but also Arnu, the singular contestant this round who prized in both raw and boosted scores. Truly the GOAT. As you all know, there's only one prizing spot left, but who does it go to? Well, it's someone who took a bit of a mixed approach, writing a response that passed a ridiculous amount of technicals, but that still managed to be at least semi-comprehensible. Let's give it up for Ranalt C6. For your first time playing in a season of mine, you're coming in with a strong showing right out of the gate, Random. Let's hope you don't immediately DMP next round. On another note, I'd hate to be Mindflex B or Itioti, 2 brave contestants who pride in raw scores. Mindflex even won the round, but who got kicked out of the prize zone by excessive boosters. Ideally, this won't become a trend in future rounds. Now, these leaderboards look nice and were very time consuming to make, but they can only store 3 responses per slide. For the duration of results, I'll be presenting single row leaderboards instead, so this video doesn't run 3 hours long. In spite of this choice, I will post the full multi-row leaderboard with all 102 rankings in the server for anyone who's interested to freely view. Here's the rest of the prize zone in single row format. Nothing new here, everything should be self-explanatory. And here's the rest of the top 20. Adamanti and Funo use emoji responses, Infinithreat does very solidly for what I believe is one of his first trials, while Username, Ayan, and Twiggy all took a balanced approach of writing good responses but also passing a lot of technicals. I'm happy to see Cyclo and Normalbin this high up. They had simple but enjoyable responses. Also, Vin getting 69.96 raw score is hysterical. On to 21st to 30th. Pikaman had one of the largest boosts of the round, but it wasn't quite enough to prize. Koopa also passed a lot of technicals, but he made the mistake of making his response almost comprehensible. A literal tree is known for placing well in round 1s and quickly falling off, but maybe he'll have better luck this time? Otis, on the other hand, is a pretty old Twower who, as far as I know, has barely played in recent years. I hope this placement is a nice welcome back to Twowing, Otis. Snailgay left the server for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. I don't have much to say about Castercore and Crazy's responses, but I'm glad they scored as high as they did. Nad wrote the most Nad response I've ever seen, Nindragon has a cool Twow on signups right now that you should totally join, link in the description, and DDDB referenced the objective best band to ever exist, Wieners Unite. Next batch. Some people I usually wouldn't expect to place in the top half, but I'm glad to see this variety. Nerdygal and Arcairit had haikus, Orbital Nova took the verbose approach, and Monochrome's response was just the right amount of ridiculous. I'm honestly not sure what Pixels or Bubbletrum's responses even mean though. Neutrality and Phoenix both had pretty simple and fun responses, one on the short side and one on the long side. Eternal Rose took an interesting approach, and I'm not going to acknowledge Icarus's response. Alright, we're about to reveal the last batch of players in this round's top half. Are you ready? Too bad, here they are. You may notice that Caden and Quetzal both prized in raw scores, but got heavily weighed down by not passing many technicals. This twist punishes people who write good responses, unfortunately. I like Sicto's response a lot, I kinda wish he placed higher. Reed came out on top among the my blank ate my homework responses, and we'll see the loser of that sandblast later. I've seen the Jokin Head of T's response done many times before, but he executed it pretty well regardless. Fordyce and Jolene Kirby both wrote blatantly stupid responses, but honestly, I'm glad they made it to the top half, it's pretty funny. I don't have much commentary for Daybreak and Hagoon's responses, but I'm really happy Pugs made it this far up. Lastly, Jawline Jim scraped the top half this round, with an admittedly very clever response. He was winning in raw scores towards the beginning of the voting period, and I can see why. Now, as we move into the bottom half, here's one final reminder that no one is getting eliminated this round. The red zone is only there to indicate that the bottom 50% NSRs will be out after round 3. With that in mind, I'll be spending less time on the lower placing contestants, so let's speed through the rest of this leaderboard. Here's our first 9. Pastel just barely missed out in spite of her massive boost, and everyone's at a similar position. Zarive actually placed second in raw score, but she intentionally asked to receive no boosts. For the record, Zarive, you would have placed exactly 51st, the top half scrape, if you did take boosts. Before I move on, I'm obligated to say Claire got robbed, because even if her response was a total nothing burger, she's my girlfriend, and it's also her birthday today. Moving on, wow. Visuriant, MarbleCyde, and TR all placing next to each other in the bottom half is wild. Viz specifically was prizing for a while. Marble was the person who reads Sandblasted that I teased earlier, and TR had one of my favorite responses of the round. I like that he kept it simple. Honestly, all three of them deserve better. I don't have as much to say about the other players on the screen, but Suomi's response is pretty funny. Further descending down the leaderboard, we have this bunch. I know this is Moss's first WoW, and I hope this somewhat low placement doesn't discourage you, because you actually did quite well in raw score, and you still have a chance to come back from this. Vortex predicted that she'd have a high raw score but get pushed down a lot by boosters, and it seems she was correct. Kawaii Tomato was actually in the top half for a long time, but they got dragged down here by late voters. I can understand why. Oh, and I don't think I've explained this yet, so let me clarify here. LitWowBot is an AI model programmed by Pikaman that takes data from the winning response of every LitWow round, that's the previous major season I hosted for those who don't know, and tries to write an original response to any given prompt from said data. It obviously didn't do super well, but honestly, 51% is a lot more than I was expecting. For whatever reason, Mr. Dell has terrible luck in my seasons lately. Round 3 death in LitWow, Alumni Cuck in Concise WoW, and now this. Hell, you got beaten by the actual robot by one spot. Everyone please mourn this tragedy by streaming Coochie game music on Spotify. On another note, seeing Varigold this low is really rough. It'll take an impressive comeback in rounds 2 and 3 for you to move on, Vari, but you know I'm rooting for you. Chorito somehow got a pretty damn solid boost just by stealing one of 96LB's responses from Epsilon's WoW, and a lot of the newbies to this season seem to struggle pretty badly. Hope you guys can get the hang of it soon. Also, y'all totally did my stepdad dirty. His response might have been cringe, but it deserved better than 90th. Lies, you made the mistake of writing a response about dogs instead of cats. You should know better by now. I'm honestly not sure why Fidget Boy placed so low, though. I thought his response was fine. And, it looks like what I said about newbies performing poorly was extremely accurate. I'm really sorry you guys had to be introduced to TWoW this way, but I assure you that it'll be worth it to stick around from here on. You've all still got a chance to redeem yourselves and pull off an impressive run, even with a rocky start. That's all 102 contestants. I do need to say that The Real Rainbow, William9, and Pyrosity will be getting disqualified. The former two had to be banned for being underage, and Pyrosity never intended to sign up in the first place. I just wanted an even number of responses. That leaves 99 of you left to battle it out for the 51 spots in Phase 2. I wish you all the best of luck. Oh, before I go, I want to give a few quick shoutouts to cool people and projects, partially because I'll be having a stat for episode mentions, and partially because I just want to acknowledge neat things when I see them. First order of business, I want to shout out Eternal Rose, MarbleCyde, A Literal Tree, Orbital Nova, Don't Trust the Bushes, Reed, and Envy for being contestants in the very first WoW season I ever hosted. It means a lot that you guys have stuck with me for over 2 years, and I'll do my very best to make this project worth your time. Next up, Nindragon is the host of Star WoW, which I did already mention, but I'd like to remind you that it's currently in signups and it would be really cool if you joined it. On the subject of other TWoWs, I recommend watching Epsilon's All-Stars, a huge inspiration for me and part of the reason this season exists in the first place, and Gym TWoW, a more casual video TWoW made by one of this season's contestants, Johnline Jim. All of these TWoWs will be in the description for you to check out. Lastly, some of the music used in this video was made by Gizmote, who I highly recommend you support on Spotify if you're interested. I think that's all I've got to say. Claire, if you're watching this, I'll love you. I'll see the rest of you guys in a few days when I release the round 2 prompt. Bye bye!